Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second day of this whole thing in IR. Today, we're talking about the environment. And not only are we going to talk about the environment, we're going to talk about these things called collective action problems. And here's the simple version of this. If you can solve these problems, you can fix any global problem, from human trafficking to the climate change to just about anything we mentioned. If you think about your policy paper, think about the policy, the issue you're thinking about. It's probably a collective action problem that needs to be solved under the way we're talking about things today. So this is actually a really important thing. It's one of my favorite class days, which is a bummer that we're not together doing it, because if you can get this, you get the whole thing. In fact, for many of you, you're going to be taking a class later on called Global Governance. And really, the whole class is just solving collective action problems. It's that important to international issues and actually getting things done that you want done in the world. So let's get started. So let's talk about collective action problems. We talked about earlier in the semester, I don't know if you remember the prisoner's dilemma. Collective action problems, prisoner's dilemma problems are collective action problems as well. So we've really already talked a little bit about this. And like I said, if you can solve prisoner's dilemma problems, you can solve tons of global issues. It's the same, it's all the same principle, we're just taking it from a different angle. So what we want to talk about first is we want to talk about public goods. When I say goods here, I mean the word like goods and services, not like goods or evil. I mean, stuff, public stuff. Now, I also want to say I have bads here because what I want to focus on is the good. It can be something that's good for the public. It can also be something bad for the public. But it's not about good or bad. It's not about good or evil. What it is, it's public stuff. And that's opposed to private stuff. So, for example, I'm doing this on my iPad right now. My iPad is my iPad. It's private. You actually can't come take it. It's my thing. A public good, though, is going to consist of two things. If you have these two criteria, you have a public good, always. And that's why there's so many things that are public goods, which so many things that are collective action problems. So the first thing you need is what we call it has to be non-excludable, which means that once you have this thing, everybody gets to enjoy them. So like, for example, once the United States builds a road, everybody gets to use the road. It's not a toll road. A toll road is a different thing. A public road, everybody gets to use it. Once there's a park, everybody gets to use the park. So that's one thing. They're non-excludable. The second thing about a public good is it's what we call non-rivalrous, which just means there's no rivalry involved. My use of it doesn't reduce the supply for others. So if I'm in the park, you can be in the park too. I don't consume the park. Like a pizza, if I eat this piece of pizza, it's no longer there for you to consume. That's rivalrous. So that's what you need. If you have these two things, non-excludable, non-rivalrous, you have a public good. And if you have a public good, you have a collective action problem. That's going to be the takeaway here. So let's just cover some examples very quickly here. So there's some obvious things that if we think about like public stuff, you can think about things like parks and streets and the sewage system. These are all examples of public goods. And we'll talk more about why this matters here in a little bit. Just for now, just make sure you understand what a public good is. So think about something that's non-excludable and non-rivalrous. So it can be a thing, right? I can actually touch this particular thing. It can also be a quality of a thing. So for example, not just air, but clean air is a public good. Again, non-excludable. Once the air is clean, everybody gets to enjoy it. And once the air is clean, my breathing of it actually doesn't reduce the ability of you to breathe it. That makes it the provision of it a collective action problem. Clean water. So it can be the thing, it can be the quality of a thing. And it can also just be an abstract idea. I know this is going to sound a little weird, but an abstract idea in the sense of national security is a public good. Once national security is provided, whatever we mean by that, everybody gets to enjoy it. And my enjoyment of national security doesn't reduce yours. Public health. These are all public goods. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. Well, we're going to take a pause on this for a second. You're going to watch a quick video, and then we're going to come back. So make sure you know what public goods are. Those two things. If you have those two things, you have a public good.